Hello everyone, my name is Ozzy and welcome to another episode of Liverpool Transfer Talk on Football Talk Podcast. We've got quite a few rumours to discuss today. I wouldn't say any of them are official or concrete news, but it gives us an idea of what type of player the club could be pursuing, or it could be complete clickbait from media outlets. But we'll be the judge of that today. So let's begin with the first rumour, and that is Ricardo Calafiori. Now, if you watched my previous transfer related shows in the past few weeks, you'll be aware that this is the guy that I want to see in a Liverpool shirt. Before the Euros hype, for me, I regarded him as a dream centre back signing. Ricardo Calafiori, what a player he is. The way he plays reminds me of Daniel Agger, who is one of my favourite Liverpool defenders of all time. But Calafiori has a bit more to his game. He's very comfortable at playing left back. In fact, he started his career playing there and transitioned into becoming a centre back. So he would be the perfect addition to the squad. Whether we play a standard back four or we tweak it slightly where the right back, which would probably be Trent, inverts and the left back tucks in to become a part of a back three, Calafiori can adapt to these tactics with ease. Now, unfortunately, due to his performances in the Euros, he's attracted a lot of interest from the Premier League, including Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, I don't know why either clubs are looking to sign Calafiori, as they both have good left-sided centre backs in their squad. So Arsenal have Gabriel and Kiwior, and then Chelsea have Koval and Badashil. So for me, I would love Liverpool to sign Calafiori, but whether it happens or not, I can't say with any conviction because we're still in the dark if there's actually any genuine interest in the player. But what I do know is that this is the defender profile that the club should be looking to sign in this summer, and I think that will transform our defense altogether. Just got a couple of comments here from Richard. It's big up Richard. He says we need left side centre and DM. 100% agreed there. Italian players don't do good in England. Yeah, that is the track record. Unfortunately, is very true. I know Chelsea had Zola, Viali, going back way back, who adapted really well, and Di Matteo as well. But yeah, traditionally, no, they don't really settle well in England. But I'm hoping Calafiori would be a different case due to the fact that the players that have come from Serie A, that's the only league that they've played in. Calafiori's been, he played for FC Bau, which was in Switzerland. So he has played his football elsewhere in comparison to the other Italian players that have come in. So I'm hoping that puts us in a good notion that he's a bit more adapt to different surroundings. But who knows? At this stage, very hard to say um, where Calafiori is going because there's a lot of interest in him. Remains to be seen where he ends up going this summer. Now, this rumor has really sparked a huge discussion amongst us fans. Fabrizio Romano has stated that Liverpool have a strong interest in Newcastle's Anthony Gordon. In fact, apparently we've had discussions with Newcastle and they requested Kwanzaa to be part of the deal, which was swiftly rejected and rightly so. So that's clear evidence that we hold a strong interest in the player. Now, whether Newcastle offered the player to us is another discussion, as they were trying to raise funds before the 30th of June, which was last Sunday, in order to meet the profitability and sustainability rules in the Premier League. Now, that deadline has passed, and Newcastle managed to raise the funds through the sales of Elliot Anderson and Yankuba Minte. So the big question is, do we still hold a strong interest in the player, and will we make another bid in the coming weeks? As of now, the answer is a no for me. But there's still a bit of uncertainty with regards to the future of Luis Diaz, who's been linked with a move to Barcelona. But they're in no position to make any big signings due to their final issues. So I don't believe we'll be going for Gordon again this summer, and nor will Luis Diaz be sold. But fans on social media have been split with regards to both players. Some have said they would be willing to sell Diaz in order to get Gordon, who they believe has more end product. Some fans believe it would be a downgrade if Diaz left the club and we ended up signing Gordon as a replacement. Now, I share the same thought which is the latter, to be fair. I believe if Diaz was to be sold, Gordon as his replacement would be a bit underwhelming. Some people say he's got better end products. You can look at stats and numbers, but whenever I've seen him play, I feel like that part of his game is still quite raw, and he needs to do better in his decision making. There was a lot of times when he played against us, he was shooting when he should be, going one touch further and then passing to another teammate. So he's still quite raw in that sort of area, in my opinion. And I'm not discrediting the player. I just don't think he's Liverpool quality, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop your comments and let me know your thoughts. Richard said we don't need Anthony Gordon, so Richard kind of shares the same sentiment there. Now, this is not official news yet, but Adrian is getting closer to the exit door as he is on the verge of making a return to La Liga and joining Real Betis. Now, it's a free transfer, of course, but I think it's a good move for both club and player. Adrian gets to play his final season before he retires with his boyhood club, and Liverpool free up a non-homegrown space. It also gives the opportunity for one of the young keepers to stake a claim in the first team squad. So it's a win-win situation. So all I can say is good luck to Adrian. You'll never walk alone. One of the hottest prospects showcasing their talents in the Euros, and that's Turkey's Arda Guler. For me, he's probably scored the best goal of the tournament, which was early in the group stages, where he shot from outside the box, hit the top bins. Lovely goal. What a strike it was. Now, due to that, the paper talk is that Liverpool have shown interest in possibly signing the player now. Unfortunately, I don't think this rumour has any legs. Firstly, we tried to sign him last year, but Real Madrid beat us to it, showed their pulling power, I guess. Secondly, Real Madrid would not be willing to sell a player of his potential anytime soon. He's very highly regarded there, and they see him as a star for the future. So unfortunately, I don't believe this move will be happening this summer. Just got a comment here from Richard. It says, get James Trafford in goalkeeper. He'd be a good signing, to be fair. He was linked with Bayern a couple of weeks ago. That kind of story is gone on the radar. I think it's deaded now, to be fair. I don't think there is any more sort of further talks with regards to that. He would be a good option, to be fair. Whether he wants to be a number two, I think remains to be seen. I feel like he's kind of in the same boat as Kelleher, where they're both at an age where they probably want to be first choice, and they have the quality to be a first choice keeper at a Premier League club. So yeah, it would be a good option, but I don't know if it would be an option that he'd want to accept coming into Liverpool. And your second comment is that we need Arda Guler for replacement for Mohamed Salah. I would love that for that to be the case. I just don't see Real Madrid parting ways with Arda Guler. I think he's growing into his potential as well. They signed him last year, so he was quite raw. Came from Fenerbahce, so he took time to kind of settle in terms of the new culture and new way of playing. So I feel like this season will be his breakout season for Real Madrid, where he'll be more involved in the first team action, if I'm being honest. So yeah, on paper, yes, it sounds like the right replacement, but I don't think it's realistic for Liverpool. Oops. Back to this story. So now, this rumor has come as a bit of a surprise to me. Apparently, Liverpool are in the hunt to sign Bayern Munich's Joshua Kimmich, and a lot of media outlets are reporting the same story. But to be honest, none of them are very reliable, and I think it's complete rubbish for a number of reasons. Firstly, he doesn't meet the age profile of players that FSG would recruit. He's currently 27 years of age. Secondly, he would demand a huge salary. I'm talking the region of 300k plus per week, which I don't think the club will be willing to provide. Thirdly, he's not the profile that we're looking for. He is a number 6, but we need a number 6 that has energy and legs in the middle of the park. He's more of a ball playing midfielder. In fact, that's why he's playing as an inverted fullback for Germany right now, where he inverts and kind of plays similar to Trent Alexander-Arnold, where his passing ability it's influencing the way they're playing. So for me, this still is a non-starter. Now, Liverpool have been linked with a big name striker. Saying so. Now, Napoli's Victor Osimhen is looking to leave the Italian team and has been linked with a move to the Premier League. But it's not a secret that the relationship between Napoli and Osimhen has been on the rocks for about a year or so for different and various reasons. And it looks like he's had enough and wants to move this summer. As a player, he's a fantastic striker. But I have to be honest, he's not a realistic target. Napoli would demand a huge transfer fee. I'm talking in the region of 120 million plus. In fact, I read somewhere that they are willing to reduce the asking price to around 80 to 90 million pounds. That's still high for Liverpool. And the only reason they've dropped it is because I don't think many clubs in Europe are in a position to spend that kind of money in this current climate. So a move to Liverpool for me is very unlikely. Now, this is a more realistic signing as Liverpool are being linked with a move for Wolves' Rayan Aït-Nouri, the left back slash wing back, had a fantastic season in the Premier League. In fact, he was one of my choices for team of the season. That's how impressed I was with him last season. Technically, very good, but he has a great understanding of the game. He knows when to attack, when to go infield, and he's actually added goals to his game now. Can I see Liverpool signing Aït-Nouri in this window? At this stage, I'm not so sure, and that's only because we haven't seen a match played under Onslaught. So I don't know what the club's, or should I say the coach's vision is for the team. But based on how he set up his team for Feyenoord, the left back in his formation slash system is more defensive than the right back. So if it's the same tactics that are deployed at Liverpool, a move for Aït-Nouri seems unlikely at this stage. But if Onslaught wants to sign a traditional left back who goes up and down, then Aït-Nouri would be on top of my list. Let's go a couple of comments here from Richard. He says, get Inacio, either Guler or Michael Olise and Ugarte. So Michael Olise, he's on the verge of signing for Bayern Munich, so that's not an option. Ugarte, it'd take a big fee to get him away from PSG, in my opinion. He's actually a player I'll be touching on very shortly. Pause. Other Guler, we just spoke about him. It's a good target, but I just don't think it's realistic. Inacio, I think there's better options. I think Calafiori is a good one for a lesser fee. I think Sporting want around 70 million pounds for him. That's too high for a left side centre back. I think there's so many options in Europe. You could do a lot better. So, yeah, interesting names, but at this stage, very difficult to see who the targets are. You've said sell Tsimikas and get Aït-Nouri. I think Tsimikas will definitely be leaving, but I think the replacement won't be an out-and-out fullback. I think it will be a defender who can play as a left back. That would be my understanding. So you kind of got two playing one. That would be the thinking. You will say Aït-Nouri good at keeping the ball. He's improved a lot in the last couple of years. Very impressive player. And last season, even more so because he played wing back, but then he inverted quite a lot of times and then scored a lot of goals. Showed a different level, different dimension to his game as well. So no, he was very impressive. But he won't come cheap either. I think they'd want around 50 million for him as well. So you got to pay the price for quality players, and let's hope Liverpool can stump it up this season. Now on to the next player. What can I say about this player? So now this story, if I'm being honest, I think it's a bit of lazy journalism. This is Fire News. Igor Paschal. He's recently had an interview and he's said some comments about Liverpool and Onslaught, saying that he's waiting or something along those lines. So that's triggered rumors to suggest that the player might be sought after from Liverpool. In terms of his profile, He predominantly plays on the left wing, but can also play on the right. Last season, he managed to attain 31 appearances, 9 goals, and provide 3 assists. So in terms of profile, yeah, seems like a decent option, but at this stage, I wouldn't say a left winger is priority. If someone was to depart, then it could be an option, but I'm not too sure about him. I've not seen much of him, to be fair. So if the news or if the rumors heat up a little bit, we can watch a compilation together in the next episode. An interesting rumor surrounding a possible new goalkeeper. Liverpool have been linked with Valencia and Georgia goalkeeper Georgi Mamadashvili. I've watched him a few times in the Euros, and to be honest with you, he looks very impressive, and I can see why he's so highly sought after. But the rumor is that he's being lined up as Alisson's replacement and not Kelleher's replacement, which, you know, it's not official news, but we believe that he could be leaving this summer. So the suggestion is that Alisson is being swayed by interest from Saudi Arabia. I don't believe that is the case. So therefore, I believe this rumor is false. Alisson will remain at Liverpool, but expect Mamadashvili to make a move this summer, as there's a lot of clubs across Europe and even in the Premier League, including Chelsea, that are in the pursuit for his signature. But unfortunately for him, it won't be Liverpool. Even if we sold Kelleher, for example, I think Mamadashvili is too good to be a second choice. So he needs to move to a club where he will be number one. Liverpool's Tyler Morton is being linked with a move from the club. Red Bull Leipzig showing the most interest at the present. Apparently, the transfer fee being thrown around is £20 million. Now, I don't know where that figure came from, because if somehow that was communicated by the club, just like it was for Sepp Vandenberg a few weeks ago, then I think Morton could be leaving the club. But if the price is right and the correct offer is placed on the table, personally, I don't think it's the right time to sell him. That's just my personal choice. I think he deserves a chance to showcase his talent in pre-season, and if he impresses, then I think he should be given the opportunity to play in the first team. He's really developed in the last couple of seasons, so I think it's only right that he gets that opportunity to impress. So let's see what happens with this one. At this stage, I think he won't be sold anytime soon. It'll be maybe assessed during preseason, depending on how he performs, and then I think the club will make that decision from there onwards. Now, this will be short and sweet. Juventus midfielder is being linked with a move to Liverpool now. If you've watched my watch-alongs recently, or maybe you watched me in another transfer show, I've been quite vocal about Adrien Rabiot. I don't rate the player. I think he's so average and offers nothing on the pitch other than sideways passes. For me, he slows the game down, and for a team that's expected to play high possession football under Arne Slot, he won't be the right fit, in my opinion. We need real technicians with energy and aggression, and for me, he doesn't offer those qualities. So he may be better off joining a club like Manchester United, where they play boring football up there. Now, I'm not even sure why this rumor came up this week, because it's so unrealistic, but we still have to address it. Jamal Musiala, who's having a fantastic Euros, by the way, is being linked with a move to Liverpool. Now, I know he was having some contract issues that I don't think have been resolved as of yet, but the way he's lighting up the Euros, I'm sure Bayern will be doing everything in their power to extend his contract, because he's the face of German football. He's an unbelievable talent, but unfortunately, he's not within our reach. Let's have a look. Got a few more comments here from Richard. Says Mamadashvili is good, but he won't want second choice goalkeeper. Yep, that's exactly what I said as well. You've said sell Tyler Morton, Reece Williams, Nat Phillips, Kelleher, Cavalier, Simicaz. We need second choice keeper. Left side is centre back, DM, and right wing. So out of the names that you've mentioned, Reece Williams, 100%, he needs to leave. I just think he's surplus to requirements. Nat Phillips, it's time for him to go as well. Kelleher, I don't think anyone would want us to sell Kelleher, but we understand the situation where he wants first in football, and rightly so. Carvalho, I think what will happen with Carvalho is he'll be given an opportunity to impress in pre-season. If he does, I think he'll stay within the squad until January, for example, and then they can revisit his situation there. If he doesn't impress, then I can see him being sold. So that one is a possibility. Simicast, I think he will be sold as well. Tyler Morton, I'm 50-50 on because I think we need more numbers in terms of midfield. I think if we are going to sign a midfielder, it will only be one. And I feel like we've had quite a few injuries in that department last season. So it might be worth having him as an option. You know, we had Bajtic, we were expecting to rely on him last season and he hardly played. So I don't want to where, he Bajtic stays for another season and he gets injured again. So we've got less numbers. So I feel like Morton will be more than up for him, raring to go whenever he gets his opportunity. So I feel like this season could be the one where he gets to play for Liverpool, and if he impresses, he'll be a squad player. But at the same time, if the fee is 20 million that they're looking for, that money could be used very wisely elsewhere. So right now, it's a lot of theories in the air. We're not 100% sure what the club or what the coach wants. For me, the coach will want to view these players firsthand and then make that decision afterwards. So right now, we can only speculate in terms of what we think. So yeah, that is the sort of thinking right now. You also say Rabiot and Palhinha old and not for Liverpool. I like Palhinha, but he's obviously on the verge of signing for Bayern Munich. Rabiot, I've never rated. I think it's very average. So yeah, not for me. Yes to Musiala as a number 10. That'd be a dream number 10 signing, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Player that you mentioned earlier on, Richard. So he was someone we were linked to last summer, and now his name's been popped up again. PSG's Manuel Ugarte is reportedly looking to leave PSG and has been linked to a move to the Premier League, with Manchester United and Liverpool showing the most interest. I think he would be a good signing for us, and he is exactly the type of player we need alongside McAllister in midfield. A number 6 who's a destroyer but is aggressive and tenacious in his overall game. So he would fit perfectly, and I would say was one of the players I really wanted to sign last year. But unfortunately, I don't see it happening, and it might be because he plays for PSG now. We'll have to offer more money in terms of the transfer fee. Last summer, PSG met his release clause of around 54 million. So we'll have to offer around 60, 65 million to sign him. And I don't think that's a realistic option. It doesn't scream like an FSG signing to spend 65 million on a defensive midfielder, but let's see. You just never know. Another Bayern Munich player linked with the club and its high-flying winger, Kingsley Coman, a player with so much ability, but unfortunately, I don't see this deal happening. At 28 years of age, I don't see this move being an option. If the club are looking to sign an attacker, it would be someone for me that's young and up and coming rather than an established name. And let's be honest, if Coman was to sign for Liverpool, he wouldn't be replacing anyone in the starting lineup. So this move doesn't make sense from a financial point of view, but also from a football perspective. And the final rumor of today is Atalanta's Ederson. Now, after the Europa League final, this was the name that so many Liverpool fans were saying, he's the one, we need to get him. Now, I was quite skeptical for a few reasons. A lot of people on social were saying he could be our new Fabinho. Now, the only similarity that these two have is that they're both Brazilian. Other than that, they don't share the same profile. Fabinho is a number 6, an out and out destroyer. Ederson is a player that is a hybrid of a number 8 and a number 6. So that got me thinking, maybe this is the profile that Liverpool are after. And just think about it, because we're not playing 4-3-3 anymore. Under Onslaught, we'll be playing a new formation, which would be 4-2-3-1. So in a double pivot, you can have a traditional number 6 alongside a traditional number 8, playing together in a double pivot. But in this kind of formation, we're not sure, because we're not sure what Arne Slot wants from his midfielders. I think he will want, if I was to make a guess, I think he will want to form a partnership where both players share similar qualities and can play as a duo rather than one dropping deep and one going forward. But having said that, there will be phases in games where that will have to be the case. Kind of like the old 4-4-2 formation that everyone used to play. It's the same dynamics. One sits, one goes forward. So having thinking about this player recently, because we've been linked to him again, I think there may be some weight in this rumor, and I believe he could be one of our summer signings. A big factor for me is Richard Hughes, who grew up in Italy and is a huge admirer of Serie A. He also, in fact, played for Atalanta in his younger days. So, from what I've read, he's also very well connected across Europe, including Italy. So, it could be a market that Liverpool will delve into a lot more in the coming windows. If I ask Liverpool fans, who could you sign in terms of midfielder this summer, who would you go for? I think the prominent name would be Bruno Guimaraes. I think that would be a popular choice. And the funny thing about that is both Ederson and Bruno Guimaraes share the same profile. They're both players that are number 6 and number 8 hybrids. They're both aggressive. They're both tenacious on and off the ball. Now, Bruno Guimaraes would cost a ridiculous amount of money. So it would only make sense to sign a player who shares similar qualities and would cost half of the price of around 35-40 million. My first choice for a CDM was Yusuf Fofana from Monaco, but for some reason I just don't think it's going to happen, as maybe he doesn't meet FSG's requirement. So I think Ederson could be our first summer signing. That's the prediction I'm going for. I don't have any insight. It's just a little hunch that I have right now. So let's see what happens. Before we wrap up, I'm just going to check a couple of comments. Which just says areas to improve for Diaz and Nunes is finished and end product. Oh, 100%. Diaz, yeah, I think, yeah, he gets into good position. To be fair, they're both the same if you think about it. It's just that Diaz showed better all-round games in the latter stages of last season, where he was man of the match due to his hard work and graft that he showed on the pitch. Nunes works hard as well, don't get me wrong, but is very erratic in front of goal. For me, Diaz, I think his shots selections are questionable. So yeah, they both need to buy a pair of shooting boots, because yeah, that is something they both need to improve on. I would say Diaz, from what I've seen, looks like he can improve in that area, but that's because he's a wide forward. So when you're coming from outside, it's like more about technique and smashing it. Whereas when you're a striker and you're in situations where you're one-on-one with the keeper, for example, you need to have a different mentality. You need to be level-headed. You need to be calm and composed in front of goal. And I just don't see those traits in Nunes' game. So who knows? Maybe the coach will have some ideas to try and get him into that kind of zone. And maybe we'll get that new version of Nunes, or we get that Benfica one that we signed off. So who knows? Let's see what happens. Daz, big up Daz as always. He says, big up Ozzy, hope you're well today. Also, you came fourth in the FPL this week. Do you know any app for Premier League predictions? So in terms of your FPL, that's the Euros one. I'll be honest with you, Daz, I have not updated my team since day one. I've kind of lost track of that. So yeah, I might have to look into it again. Because you told me I was second last week. So yeah, I've dropped down to fourth. Do I know any apps regarding Premier League predictions? I don't, to be fair, but if I do come across anything, I'll definitely give you a shout and let you know. And that's all the comments, and that is also the end of the show. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you to Richard and Daz for your comments as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. But please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 25 minutes at 11 p.m. UK time for the Euro 2024 round of 16 review plus quarter-final predictions. In terms of upcoming content, we'll also be doing a watch along of Spain versus Germany tomorrow at 4:55 p.m. UK time. So make sure to tune in and get involved in the live chat as well. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very shortly. Goodbye.